I remember walking into that room like I was stepping onto a stage I had never auditioned for. The chandelier glittered over polished mahogany tables, and the murmur of polite laughter felt like a foreign language. My stepmother, Claudia, greeted me with that practiced smile, the one that carried the weight of expectation like a sword dangling over my head. "Try to mingle tonight," she whispered, just loud enough for me to hear. "This crowd, it's important. Watch how your sister moves among people. She just connects." Her words stung, not because they were harsh, but because they were exactly what I wasn't. My sister, Lila, 26, had the kind of charm that made people forget they were being sold to. Every laugh, every nod, every perfectly timed compliment was like a polished coin dropped into someone's pocket. They felt richer for the interaction, but they didn't see the hands sliding it in. And me? I was standing there with my black dress and my spreadsheets in my head, feeling like a mistake in a social experiment. The room was full of people my family considered the elite, real estate tycoons, doctors, business owners who shook hands and remembered names with frightening precision. My father, Dr. Stephen Harper, was proud, beaming as if each handshake and laugh from me were a reflection of his own intelligence. He never understood that I didn't play their game, because the game itself felt meaningless. I wasn't here to collect business cards. I was here to think. To analyze. To understand. But no one saw the value in that. Claudia's voice echoed in my mind. "You're too serious. Ask lighter questions. Make them like you." Lighter? Make them like me? I was already busy running boardroom simulations in my head, tracking organizational charts and leadership dynamics of Fortune 500 companies I consulted for. Their idea of success was someone who smiled easily. My idea of success was someone whose decisions actually mattered. I drifted through the room, half listening to Lila's practice conversations. She moved like a breeze, always leaving warmth behind, while I clung to fragments of meaningful dialogue with whoever would humor me. I asked questions no one cared to answer. Strategy, leadership, systems, subjects they considered too heavy for Easter cocktails. And yet, in the corners where I lingered, I could feel the weight of genuine understanding, even if it went unnoticed. My father leaned into one of his friends and said, loud enough for me to hear, "Rachel just doesn't get people. She analyzes too much, asks too many questions. You have to be likable first, smart second. Likable first, smart second." That was their mantra. I nodded politely while checking my phone, balancing meeting schedules and keynote requests from CEOs around the world. I was orchestrating boardroom transformations while they whispered about my social failures. Hours passed in predictable monotony, Lila collecting accolades, Claudia nodding approvingly, me cataloging their superficiality. And then, everything changed. Claudia's phone buzzed. She glanced down, her smile faltering as her eyes widened. She handed the phone to my father, and the room went quiet. The headline glared back at us, "Top 40 Under 40, the CEO Whisperer, How Rachel Harper Transformed Fortune 500 Leadership." I watched their faces freeze. Their world, so meticulously curated around small talk, charm, and surface-level networking, shattered in an instant. The work they had dismissed as too analytical, too serious, too disconnected, was now recognized by the very people they envied: global CEOs, industry leaders, and executives whose decisions impacted billions of dollars. My consulting had guided companies through leadership transitions, organizational overhauls, and strategic crises that shaped entire industries. And they had thought it irrelevant. Claudia's mouth opened, closed, opened again. My father turned pale, as if someone had peeled away the veneer of his understanding and left him raw. Lila, ever composed, suddenly looked small. The applause I had never sought in cocktail halls now existed in headlines, in accolades, in real-world impact. I didn't need anyone to like me. I just needed to do my work, and it had mattered more than their smiles ever could. As I stood there, the tension in the room thick as poured wine, I realized something crucial: the world they measured success by was a facade. The real world, where decisions mattered, where outcomes shaped millions of lives, valued substance over sparkle. And I had it. They had been so busy teaching me how to fit in, that they never stopped to see I had already built a universe where I belonged. By the time dinner was called, the room had transformed into a silent reckoning. Every whisper about my social shortcomings now sounded hollow against the reality of my achievements. I didn't correct anyone. I didn't gloat. I simply continued walking my path, quietly facilitating boardroom discussions that changed the course of corporations, while they adjusted to the inconvenient truth. The most influential Harper in the room wasn't the one with the perfect handshake or the rehearsed smile, and in that moment, I understood something profoundly liberating. Being underestimated is a superpower. It allows you to operate where others can't, to build where others merely perform. My advice to anyone listening? Stop chasing approval. Measure yourself by impact, not applause. Because the world is far bigger, and far more rewarding, than any cocktail conversation.